surprise. Yeah, this is a surprise live stream to apparently 0 viewers, but I don't know. We'll see. Yeah,
Oh,
I didn't do any advertising. I just thought it would jump on here, just me and Elijah here. We'd cover a few things. Okay, so now up there in the corner is registering that we have a few,
ah. Well,
very few, but yeah.
it's good to change things up a little bit, That way we can, see how it goes and all that kind of stuff. And kind of like an experiment.
Well, see is yeah, Monday stream, which I say Monday. Some of you like, but it's on Tuesdays. Like I can't help it if you're in a different part of the world. I'm gonna say what it is from here, not which I will say I did title this one Wednesday, and here it's not quite. It's like an hour from Wednesday, but yeah, Monday show was a bit of a disaster. It was very disjointed. You had a lot of people not being attentive, not uh, which people have lives, right? But it whatever. I'm not really pointing fingers, but I'm saying it didn't go well, and the watch hours reflected that.
Yeah, it.
So we have one person,
Hi,
Midnight Ladybug.
Ladybug.
You were saying
Yeah, it did not go well at
it
all.
was the worst stream I've had in I don't know, like a year or more.
Yeah.
So this one, we're just here, just us, trying to cover some topics and try not to be too lewd and crude, at least until YouTube quits paying attention to our words.
I don't think that's ever gonna happen. Oh,
Hey, Jeffrey.
hi.
Yeah. I was just talking about how Monday stream was. I felt it was a disaster, and the watch hours reflected that. So just me and Elijah were just throwing on a surprise stream. I don't know how long it will last. It could be 30 minutes. It could be 2 or 3 hours. I don't know, but we'll see.
It's good to see you. I always call him Paradigm. I can't help it. To me, it just, it
But
sounds neat.
you just got to think Geoffrey.
Yeah, but I don't know. And I hope that your new job is going well for you.
Well, yeah. That's the thing about using people's names, because it's like, say, for example, their name is Tim, and it's like, I knew a Tim and he was a fucking asshole, right? so it is a little bit more comfortable to use like these code names, like we're X-Men or something.
Well, we kind of are. I mean, oh, well, life comes first, and it's understandable. You
Hey,
got to get
you
some sleep.
you sound like you're underwater.
Oh, uh-oh. Hang on, I'll take care of that.
No, I mean, well, Jeffrey here does provide some stability to my stream, some well-needed stability. It speaks calmly and speaks good sense, which I'm not saying everybody else is a lunatic, but he's part of a well-needed balance,
Yeah,
and that's always important.
it balances everything out fairly well, That, and if there's some kind of underlying issue as far as the big stuff goes, like theories and stuff like that, he's the first one that's gonna know about it.
Well, that's his whole thing is paradigms.
Yeah. Dude, I appreciate the sentiment. Yeah, I'm all good for starting Friday. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Well, we appreciate you too. So, so yes, this is just a surprise live stream, people. And we hope you enjoy it. If nothing else, it's something to listen to while you're doing other stuff. So, there you have it.
Okay, so yeah, I will be doing a show tomorrow. My time it'll be 2 p.m. For Eastern time it'll be 3 p.m. In the UK time, I think it's like 8 or something, 8 p.m.
Yeah.
Of course, that one is more. It's a joint project, so it's not really my thing. It's a joint project, but yeah, tune into that. We call it System Crash. It's part of the network.
Yeah.
I don't like being a part of a network. It makes me feel like something low down and dirty, right? Isn't a network always like that?
It makes you think you ought to be getting paid more.
It's a pyramid scheme.
Oh yeah.
I mean, not literally. It's just that, for the sake of the joke there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it kind of is structured that way. I mean, if you think about it. But anyway.
Well, it doesn't matter if this stream gets many viewers. I didn't advertise. I didn't really put it up early for people to know about it. If nothing else, I'll use it as material to cut up for daily videos.
Yeah. So I hope everybody's week is going okay so far and all that kind of stuff. And looking forward to Thursday when we'll be doing a live stream on Thursday too.
Yeah.
So we've been
So
busy.
Mondays, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, any other time you figure it out. Wednesdays, 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern, and 8 UK, I think. And Thursdays, 8 Central, 9 Eastern. So yeah, you can catch us any of those times. Plus, I typically put out daily videos, although sometimes that gets difficult. It's hard to cut a segment out of a full panel of people, and then it's hard to take extra time. Besides those 3 days, I'm busy to find news, record the news, edit the news, and upload the news.
Yeah, it gets to be difficult for sure because all that stuff takes a lot of time.
Yeah, not to mention I'm not exactly getting paid. It feels like having a job working
Yeah.
for nothing.
But yeah, it is like having a job.
So a lot of articles I put up are politically based in some fashion or another, but I like to also try to choose things that are within the realm of pop media. If I was just come on here and be like, hey, there's this new game and I like it, I don't find that interesting. It's like, okay, I like it. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but I don't find it that interesting. I kind of like to go with where the dirt is, where the real dirt is. That's just me. With that being said, there's a lot of dirt that I find I'm like, I can't possibly put this on YouTube. They will smack me down so quick.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of have to ride this line between dirt and pop media. And usually, I mean, like, oh, you're political. We don't like political people. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Cry baby. Here's the thing. These days, name me something that's not political.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, everything nowadays is political in some shape, form, or fashion. You can't get away from it. And it's
Yeah,
better.
everything's political.
I mean, it's better to know what's going on than just shut your eyes
Okay,
to it.
but if I'm like, Hey, I got a YouTube channel about picnics. We go out with my family and we have picnics. They're going to be like, you cis white gender breeder colonizer. You're what's wrong with America. You can't, you know,
You can't win for losing.
you throw a rock, it's political. You know, it's going to hit something political. It's like everything's political. So for those to be like, oh, you're just political. Well, I am noise pollution. And secondly, everything's political. And guess what? I didn't make it that way. I'm just going to point it out.
Well, like I was saying, it's better to know what's going on than to be blind to it. And then when the shit hits the fan and you're going, what in the hell happened? Meanwhile, you were oblivious to all the stuff that was going on. You really can't, somebody really can't have anybody to blame but themselves for not seeing it when it's being pointed out, you know.
You have a lot of people's like, I just want to play my games and I want to have fun. I don't want all this political crap on me. Sure. Same here. I so don't. The problem is when it gets to a point that you're drowning in it, that you have no choice but to take notice. You are so far behind because you weren't paying attention to all these things. And it's like, how did this get here? Why are they allowing this? Why is this happening? Why? Because you didn't want to pay attention to the drama. That's why.
Well, you know, that all that you just said is why we are where we are now, is because all those things that were happening, people turned a blind eye to it and they wasn't paying attention. Well, guess what? It overtook everything.
So from Jeffrey Rucker, it comes out of the political realm, but as we saw from recent events, it's actually good versus evil. Most people just want to distract themselves with entertainment. Yeah, it does. I mean, for the longest time, I'm like, different political views. Some of this is money motivated. Some of this is coming down from way high, and they're following orders and giving us a crap line as the reasons. But with recent events, it's like it doesn't matter their intentions. This is good versus evil. It doesn't matter what their excuse is. A lot of people go like, that's just an excuse. You can have an excuse, and it can be a valid excuse. You know, you can't dismiss all excuses. But when the aftermath is just evil, your excuse doesn't matter anymore.
Well, I know I bring this up a lot, but after what happened to Mr. Kirk happened, and I saw multitudes of people that should have known better, celebrating and dancing and all manner of god-awful stuff they were doing, that's evil. And in my mind, it's like, how can you sit there and do those things?
I used to debate people, you know, on a small scale. Like, I would say, what is evil? First of all, do you think there is such thing as evil, or it's just, you know, action and reaction and consequence? And then if you think there's evil, is evil in the intent or the consequences? And this hopefully got them thinking. No matter their answer, I would have something to counter it with it. Not to say this is what I think, but rather, how about this angle? Let's hash it out through this angle now. And I think that once they were approached with this concept, they struggled to mentally work through it.
Yeah.
So there's a world full of people, and they're like, some of them like, I don't believe in evil, and some of them like, no, that's evil. But break it down logically. What is evil, at least to you? And that's really going to get your gears turning. And I think recent events has caused that in a lot of people. It's got their gears turning.
Yeah.
First, they got their heart working, and then it got their gears turning.
Well, the thing is when something that horrific happens in front of millions of people, the ones that it hurt, it got their heart going first, and then it started making their mind go. And then they started waking up and noticing things.
Okay, it's always horrific to see somebody took down like that, but that wasn't it. Okay, yeah, sure, it was the action, but it wasn't just the action. It was like the whole world went, "Oh my God, do you know what this means? Do you know what's gonna come of this? This is a marker in history. This is a definitive point in time." And while others are going, "Yay!" and laughing and cheering and dancing, you had the rest of the world like, "Do you know what's happened here? This will change things for us all, and it's gonna hurt us all."
Yeah, because he I think it shocked a lot of people because what happened to him happened because he had a difference of opinion to what's out there now.
Well,
And that's the truth. He had a difference
actually,
of opinion.
one of the things I have prepared to cover delves a little into that incident, but we'll get to that later. Jeffrey Rucker, he says, "Evil is in the heart. It manifests through intent into action. In my honest opinion, intent is how witchcraft and magic work as well." Well, to my knowledge, witchcraft and magic is not unlike prayer. It's putting energy out there to affect things. Now, I know particularly Christians might be like, "Well, their energy goes to God and then comes back down." Well, I'm looking at it more of from the other perspective. All of the people in witchcraft that I knew of didn't worship any deity. To them, it was your energy affects the flow of all other energy out there. And when you do the ceremony with it, you're putting action toward that as well to reinforce it. Now, when I say ceremony, I'm not saying they were sacrificing anything. Just a set, kind of like ritual.
Mm-hmm. Well, to me, you're not. It's like you said, you're putting your energy out into the everything, and that kind of stuff. So, but it is kind of like a prayer because a lot of cultures do the same thing, and
Well,
some
in my time, I personally, I came to the conclusion there's witchcraft and magic, and that's manipulating things. But I came to the understanding you shouldn't manipulate things, even if you can. Rather, you should tune into things and become part of the flow, and then things will begin to dawn on you in a way they never did before. The manipulation is not needed. It's not the way to go.
Well, it's like to me, if you try to manipulate things that are set to happen anyway, and you're not really supposed to have any control over that, you're just supposed to learn from it and exist with that knowledge. If you try to manipulate what's naturally supposed to happen in the first place, you're overstepping your bounds.
I find where so many go wrong, and again, this is only my opinion. A lot of people's like, I gotta know, I gotta study, I gotta learn. And really, it's about tuning in, becoming aware. Rather than filling your head up, you are becoming a part of. You are tuning into the pulse of all reality, so to speak.
Well,
but again, that's just my experience and my take.
Well, even
this knowledge, it fills your head up. Then what are you going to do with it? It does nothing ultimately. Now, there are some things. Yeah, awareness. Awareness is different than just, oh, I learned this and this and this. Awareness is different. So don't conflate the two or confuse the two, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even Einstein said you cannot learn anything unless you have imagination, because imagination gets you to asking the questions of how things work and how to do things, and how, how everything works. So that goes into a part of awareness, I think. If you become aware of something and it tricks, I mean, not tricks, but it triggers your imagination, you want to know all the ins and outs of it, how it works, how it came to exist, everything. I mean, it's
Yes,
like
but
going into a rabbit hole with it.
when before you become aware, you have to understand my working definition of aware here. You struggle with your feelings, you struggle with reality, everything's a struggle. You become aware, and it's like everything just falls into place perfectly, like building blocks, and it just like a snug fit. And it's like, I never knew it could be like this, but now I am aware.
Yeah. It's like when you got a puzzle and you're having trouble making the last piece fit, and you're looking at it from all angles, and you're racking your brains out trying to figure out how to make it work. But if you
It's
step back and take a look at it, it usually comes to you. And I'm guessing, to my understanding, that's how
yeah.
it works.
When it's this awareness I speak of, this version of awareness, I suppose, is tuning in, like as in feeling that you are not separate from the ocean, but every drop is part of that ocean. So on the prayer uh, line we were talking about, prayer for Christians is toward God. It should always be done in the direction of, if it is His will, things put out that are untargeted toward any specific entity may be picked up by the wrong kind.
Oh, okay, I get it. I get it. Yeah. Well, that's why Ouija boards are so dangerous. Is
Oh,
because
I
when
absolutely agree. Such acts as seances and Ouija boards are extremely dangerous. I know this from experience, and I've never, we were actually we were talking about this earlier. I had a lot of experience in this kind of thing. And I've never seen a successful seance. Not once in my life. Never heard about one. I have seen successful Ouija board experiences, but either way, when you do these things, I know a lot of you people just think I'm nuts for even saying this, but bad stuff slips through. It does.
hmm well, it's common knowledge amongst people that do these kinds of things and stuff, that Ouija boards lie. They always lie. They will lie and lie and lie. You,
Oh wait. 90% of the time you're like, yeah, somebody's pushing this. This is a bunch of crap. But if you do it a lot, you will have those moments where you have no doubt that something's going on. I'm not going to elaborate too much because it's just going to make me sound bonkers. But you will have these moments where you have no doubts on it.
yeah, that's true. And things like that, a lot of people get sucked into the thrill of it all, and they don't understand there's things that you do not mess with. You do not get its attention. You leave that mess alone because it's none of your business. The living should not try to bring back the dead. It's like in that Pet Cemetery movie, the TV movie, where the man was trying to dissuade the other one from putting one of his family members in the pet cemetery, and he said, sometimes dead is better. And it's the truth.
So yeah, Ouija boards work, which originally they were called witch boards, and witch board had a different design, not greatly different, but different. Uh, in my experience, everybody out there can judge for yourselves. You can be like, I don't believe in that crap, whatever, whatever works for you. But in my experience, they do, or rather can work. And yeah, you will have bad consequences every time. You might not immediately notice it, but eventually you will, and it will dawn on you as to why.
Yeah. And during this time of the year, stuff like that is amped up anyway, because it's my belief that the changing of the seasons, where the days get shorter and the nights get longer, those kinds of things just it happens more often for whatever reason. But to me, it's the changing of the seasons and stuff like that. And you get people that think it's just a game and all that kind of stuff, and they mess around with it
Well,
and all
they
that.
they market it they market it toward children. It's like, hey, children, here's a board game for you. That shows you the flagrant, blatant disregard for that, spirituality. That whole side of things is like, yeah, well, we go to church, but yeah, we don't really believe that.
How
How you
can
gonna be like? How you gonna be like? I believe in angels and I believe there's the devil and I believe there's a God and a heaven, but Ouija board, that's a child's game. How are you gonna do that?
how are you going to go to church and not believe in that kind of stuff to it? That's what that's what the that's what the Bible's trying to tell you, is don't do this stupid shit, you know, along with the message of treat others like you want to be treated and all that kind of stuff. It's just silly. But you're right. There are people that go to church every Sunday and say they believe in God and Jesus and angels and the whole nine yards, but they don't believe in the other side of it too, which you have to have a balance, and that is just more of the same. It's just a balance. But, you know, people are going to do stupid stuff, I guess.
Yep. Folly of humanity. Yes, he's absolutely correct there. The supernatural has been systematically downplayed to non-existence through bad churches.
Yeah.
Also, the scientific community is like, ha ha ha, you believe in that? Well, we measure things. Good for you, but I think you missed a few.
Well, there was a study. Actually, there's been a few studies where scientists, they actually found entities and things like that. And I think there was a movie about it, but it was based on a true
Yeah,
story.
but there's been many documentaries, but they get dismissed right off. And plus, these debunkers, they're on it like, they get off on doing this, like this can be debunked and blah 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 blah. And they're like a mad dog on that. I've seen it. I've seen it at other streamers and I believe it comes from a place of fear. They're scared, so they're like, gotta debunk it, gotta debunk it. You can debunk anything, anything, because logic can be twisted, and you can look at things from a billion different perspectives and perceptions.
True. But, you know, what I find interesting is they debunk things like that up to a point, and then something so extraordinary happens to them where they can't debunk it anymore.
Look,
They don't have an
I'm
explanation or anything.
I'm not a nut. I don't believe in every little thing that comes out, every ghost story, every conspiracy theory. No, 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 no. But I try to stay open to a belief, and a belief is not something you nail down. It's something you go, maybe. I'll keep this here, and I'll re-examine it every now and then. But I'm not gonna say it is.
Yeah, that's true.
So Jeffrey Rucker, he says, secular naturalist scientism has been a very effective tool for those who don't want people to understand the supernatural realm.
Yeah, it's true. And I think that goes to their egos, you know. They don't want to be. They don't
Well,
want to say there's something that they don't understand.
it also goes toward the colleges, the whole system. Uh, okay, all throughout history, every time a scientist is like, even the Earth's not flat. Guess what happened to him?
Yeah.
Look at the kind of scrutiny they put Einstein through. Look how Nikolai Tesla ended up. Anybody who's like, well, wait a minute, I got this other take on it, and you might find this interesting. They're like, burn them at the stake.
Mm-hmm.
So the system is going to beat any new findings, originality, anything out of anyone that strays outside of this is what we taught you, and this is the only thing that can be known. This is the only thing that will be known.
Well, Einstein, he had a horrible time in school because he had a different way of looking at things and understanding things, and they nearly failed him in college for it. It wasn't until he came up with his equations that they started paying attention, and the only reason he did that is so they would pay attention to what he was saying.
Well,
Because
that always messed with me a little, and here's why. I remember I first heard about Einstein when I was like 6 or 7, and I was like, yeah, okay, I get it. It's kind of what I always felt. It's kind of like, well, this is what Einstein taught, and I'm like, he had to teach that. And to me, it wasn't no big deal. So then they're like, here's his equations. I'm like, his equations are shorthand for saying the exact same thing he already said. And they wouldn't listen to him until he threw an equation on it. Were they retarded? Because these equations do nothing. Now, I'm not saying all equations do nothing, but it's essentially shorthand for saying something that is usually already said. Not in all cases, but in those cases in particular, it most definitely was.
well, yeah, he would be the first one to tell somebody that what he wrote meant nothing really. It was just a visual aid for what he was trying to get people
Yeah,
to
and I'm
understand.
going, they really had to be told in that way, or were they slow?
They didn't want to believe it because he
Until
challenged their
until it
ego.
was like, let me throw it to you in this equation kind of way, and they're like, oh, we can accept it now.
Hmm.
They're deficient. These people are deficient.
And his first wife, she was just as brilliant as he was. In fact, she helped him come up with a bunch of those equations.
Was he one of those that married his cousin?
Yeah.
Yes, there are all too many educated idiots. Absolutely true.
Well, what I find is very educated people a lot of times lack the ability to form imaginative thought because they cram their heads so full of facts that they don't have any room for any new discoveries, and that's sad. It's sad
Well,
because
also like Newton, right? Uh, it was like explaining Newton's law of gravity, right? And it's kind of like, okay, okay. Do you recall what his law of gravity was?
oh no, I'd have to look it up real quick. I don't remember exactly what it was.
Well, and then everybody's like, oh, he discovered gravity. It's not like people's like, what's this heavy force is keeping us down, is making things fall? What's going on? And then one day Newton goes, you know what? I just find the whole way that they do that rather odd.
Basically, Newton's law is every particle of matter in the universe attracts every other particle with a force that varies directly as a product of their masses. So basically, that's what it is.
So yeah, anything in motion pulls on other things essentially.
Yeah, yeah.
Much like centrifugal force holds things down that may be on it. Well, here's the thing. I'm like, I didn't need a scientist to tell me that. It's kind of like, duh. Yeah, I really had to have this broke down for me.
Yeah.
Are you serious? But that's just my take on it. My take.
Well, I mean, and the thing is being educated does not mean you're smart. It means you can retain knowledge and take tests. That's
Yeah, you're a good test taker, and you can recite what you've read.
yeah.
That's a measure of one measure of brain health and behavior. You know, uh, so part psychology, part brain health. It is not a measure of intellectual, you know, well, IQ. Uh, yeah, my brain just kind of died right toward the end of that sentence.
Well, for example, my father, he went to the third grade and then he quit school. He had to help his family farm and that kind of stuff. But he made a lure, a fishing lure. He got tired of losing his lures. So he made one that would take in water and propel itself, a fishing lure. Nobody told him. He just figured it out and did it on his own, but he was always tinkering with things. Well, to an educated person, they would laugh at him and say he was a dumb redneck hillbilly. But no, he was very smart. It was just in a different way. He never did have much. He had to see things and figure it out on his own rather than read about it and have somebody tell him about it. That's the difference.
Well, my father only went to elementary school, but then him and his brother crawled under it and then set it on fire and got out. But but whatever the case, whatever the case, it was back in the 50s in the country, right? But
Hmm.
and he can read a little bit, not real great, but he can build a house, he can fix any motor, he can fix any wiring problem, any plumbing problem. He's an absolute survivor.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's what a lot of people don't understand. You need people that can do those kinds of things because those skills are very important. And guess what? Those skills are dying off very quickly because the younger generation is not replacing the older ones in that knowledge, and that knowledge is going to pass away with them. So
But anyway,
somebody's got to keep it alive.
yeah, I just felt like doing a surprise stream tonight, but I also wanted to see how functional the stream would be with two people talking because we have a great time a lot of times with like 8 or more people on the panel, but it's highly disjointed and things don't really get covered.
It's kind of chaotic.
And then we have the occasional moaning and bitching and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's that.
Look,
Yeah.
sometimes it's me doing the occasional moaning and bitching, to be fair, right? But most of the times not. Okay, but anyway, I'm
Yeah.
going to get to the first page I want to have a look at and talk about a little bit. Stochastic terrorism, Gen V, portrays Elon Musk blown into bloody bits. Now, Gen V is a spinoff from The Boys. I don't know how many of you may have seen it, but it's quite raunchy in certain ways. But they definitely aim toward the Gen Z and Gen Alpha crowd.
Yeah.
So, according to the words on here, am I correct in reading that feces?
Yeah.
Feces freaks put a hit on Elon Musk. I don't know why they're saying feces, but anyway. Gen V, they revealed their desire to violently murder Elon Musk. So not only are they doing this openly, but they're doing it for a vast audience. In the episode, a superpowered student receives personalized instructions from the dean of superhero school who hopes to help her sharpen her powers. First, she learns to levitate blood bags, accidentally causing one to explode. Then a goat is brought in so she can practice levitating a living being without killing it. The dean reveals that the goat's name is Elon Musk, and that they give the animal such names so the students don't feel bad. So if they accidentally kill an animal named after an a-hole, so yeah. So right off, they're demonizing a very public figure and saying, "Oh, it's okay if you kill it." The student then proceeds to successfully levitate the animal a few feet into the air before losing control and causing the animal to explode into little bloody pieces.
You know, that's just wrong. That should be against the law or something, because that could be considered
it's inciting violence. Absolutely inciting violence. They could have used they could have even used an anagram name, you know. They could have, you know, kind of like Bill Gates, Gil Bates, right? You know, they didn't even thinly veil it.
Well, you know, with the recent events that has happened, that this should be against the law or something. But maybe, I don't know, maybe that's too harsh, but something they should have some kind of consequences.
This whole stochastic terrorism, I don't know its origins, but I do know that the latest generation, and especially, I hate to use this word, but it's fitting, the woke side of things. They're using this stochastic terrorism. They're embracing the hell out of that because that's their ticket to do evil, to hurt people. So stochastic terrorism is when an atmosphere is created where it becomes acceptable to murder certain types of people. It is what happens when influencers make it clear that violence should be committed against the people they hate. Leftist institutions have been laying the groundwork for this sort of thing for decades through intimidating that being white, Christian, or Christian, or being a productive member of society makes you, and I'm gonna say it, the YouTube safe word, a Yahtzee. And Yahtzee, of course, don't deserve to live. So it's kind of like, if you're one of these, then you're a Yahtzee, and that gives us permission to do this. Think about it, okay? Some people might watch this and go, well, that's a stretch. Are you serious? Quit, knock that off. No, let's start doing the math, and maybe it's not. That's not how you think. But it is how a lot of them are thinking.
Yeah.
So the violent, bloody murder of a goat version of Elon Musk is just the latest example of this. The feces fixated freaks of Hollywood would like nothing better than some mentally ill individual with a weapon to hunt down Elon Musk and end him.
Well, you know what? Like I said, there should be some kind of consequences to speaking like this, because you know all the people that do this kind of stuff scream, "Oh, the right is what's doing it," and blah blah blah, and it's the other way around.
From Midnight Ladybug, I don't care if you don't like someone, you don't do that. It gets an idea in people's head, and with so many shootings, it really doesn't need to be encouraged. Yeah, that's the whole point. Is like, especially in the atmosphere now that's been set recent events.
Yeah, it's just volatile.
Okay, there was the girl on the subway at Arena, whatever the case, and just walked away, and nobody did anything. And then just yesterday or a few days ago, they came in, put this girl on her knees in her home, nude, and bang.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Charlie Kirk incident, and in today's atmosphere, we don't need any such encouraging of violence.
No, we don't.
And okay, if you have a fantasy type show and part of your stick is to encourage violence, don't name people, because that's it's kind of like people's like, hey, I can be like one of these superheroes, I can do that.
Yeah. But after the recent events that has taken place, I just find this show in poor taste, because to me it's heavily politically driven, and in a lot of episodes they just come right out and say things and name people. So yeah, I mean,
I
it's in
watched
poor
I
taste.
watched one of these. I haven't seen up to the latest, but I watched one of these episodes, right? And the main, what do you call it, heroine, the female hero, is a black girl, but of course, and she goes up to somebody's like, "Hey, stop that!" And a group of young white men surround her, like you know, and I'm going, this does not reflect reality. I've seen it the other way around too many times to count, but I have never in my life, not even in the 80s, seen a group of white boys surround a black girl ready to beat her down. I've never seen that happen in my life.
Me either.
I'm not saying it's never happened, but I've been on this earth for near half a century in the country south, where they claim all this happens. I've never seen it happen. I've never even seen a hint of at it. Like maybe it could happen. No, it just never has.
I'm over a century year old, and I haven't seen it
Half a
either.
century. You don't want to say you're
Yeah,
over a
half a
century.
century. Half a century, I mean, I'm sorry. Half a century. And I haven't seen it.
So,
And
okay, to continue the article, many believe that the recent assassination of Charlie Kirk was an example of stochastic terrorism, with leftist institutions previously labeling him as a Yahtzee and a white supremacist. There can be no mistake. The end goal of the leftists is the violent and bloody murder of white Christians and conservatives. All of their political rhetoric and obfuscation, I hate that word, because it's hard to say, of their murderous intentions, their desire to wipe Western civilization off the face of the earth and dance on its grave. They tried to do it in the USSR, and now they want to do it in the West. Here's the thing. Yes, right now it is primarily whites and straights and Christians and men. But it will be anything they don't agree with. They're going to start doing it to each other when they are divided on even small topics. They're going to eat their own, but it's not going to stop them. I do think that that's their primary targets, and they have spoken out on against the nuclear family, which is kind of like, what? Are you serious? A man and woman get together and have a child, and it's like, hey, we're family, and it's like, you got a problem with that? How do you think you were born? How's your movement going to keep going? What is wrong with you?
yeah, I mean, I don't get why they hate the nuclear family so much either, because without them there wouldn't be any more people.
It reminds me, way back in school, there was always this joke, like it'd be like, you got two daddies in a do-it-yourself kit. That's what they want. They want, they're waiting for where they can artificially inseminate a artificial,
yeah,
and have it carried to term without the need for straight people. And that's, I suppose that'd be like, yeah, now we will flourish.
Well, they're already working on that in China.
They've already done that in China.
Oh, yeah, that figures. I wasn't sure if they'd already done it or not.
Okay, so for the leftist degenerates that have infested our institutions, encouraging stochastic terrorism is one of the primary ways they conceal their true agenda. They want us dead. They want to, again, YouTube safe words, grape our children. And they think it's funny. They think that God or possibly Satan has promised them the world. Now, here's the thing. I got a few things to say on that. For one, most of them don't follow the whole God Satan thing. It's more ego and I'm gonna get what I want and I'm gonna feel pride. And it's like, oh, we got this now, we ruled this now. I think it's coming from a place of that.
And narcissism.
Infesting our institutions, absolutely. It's kind of like the what was his name? Something Tyler Robinson,
Yeah.
with the Charlie Kirk incident.
Yeah.
He come from a right-wing family and only had changed in recent years when, guess what? He went to college.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like we were talking about Monday night on stream. Furious Dan had an excellent point. He says that boy, he was just a boy. He was probably a virgin. He got in college. They filled his head with all this crap. He was probably a virgin. And then they got with this person in transition. And he's like, ooh, this feels good. And this means this. And now I want to protect him. Or he was probably saying hurt. But I think he kind of hit the nail on the head with that one. And, that's great of Dan. I mean, he really got that one. Now, to address this further, stochastic terrorism. That's actually something that the Murky Monster is trying to use against Smash JT in court. Stochastic terrorism. It's their favorite new legal toy. And it also excuses their lack of morality. And about what they want to do to our children, you might go, whoa, back it up. That's a bit much. That's too far. But do you realize how many groups out there are going, maps matter. Minor attracted people matter. And then it's in the LGBTQIA plus. It's part of that. They've incorporated into their long, ever-growing title. Do you realize this is a reality? And you might not feel that way. You might be like, I'm not for it. Some of them are. And they are actively promoting it.
Well, I mean, why do you think they won't let the parents see what they teach the children in school anymore?
Jeffrey Rucker, he says this article is spot on. Good work to the author. And I agree with him. Let's see who wrote this real quick. They'll tell me. Somebody named Art Gaines, apparently. I don't know who that is, but yeah, it is a great article, and they're very spot on with it. What were you saying?
I was saying they can't say that doesn't happen because why does everybody think the parents are having such a fit now because they can't see what is being taught in the classrooms anymore? They can't go check up on their kids anymore.
Yeah, for those who aren't aware, in most schools now, the parents cannot check on their kids at school. They cannot know what they're doing. They can't even tell their parents, hey, we're working on this. Here's our work. They're not allowed. All the stuff's locked down to a computer. They don't even use pen and paper anymore. We are so screwed.
Yeah. And well, about that, I've been reading where homeschooling is becoming a big thing now. More and more parents are taking their children out of school and homeschooling them.
I homeschooled my kids, but I had to jump through a lot of hoops to do it. But I did, and I think they're a lot better for it. They didn't fall into a lot of these pit holes that others did. Yeah. They are most definitely not woke. I have one kid, the oldest, who went to school the longest. He tries to walk the line. He's like, he's not woke, but he tries to walk the line and be like, as long as it's not hurting me, I'm not gonna see it. I'm not gonna hear it. And, I got one like that, but he was in school the longest.
His girlfriend is incredibly woke, though.
Yeah, but okay.
I just, it just never ceases to amaze me at these people that say, oh, this isn't happening when clearly it is, and they won't wake up until it happens to them or someone
Yeah.
they know.
Well,
Where
was this from? They came for these people and no one spoke up. And they came from these people, and it was like, and then they came for us, and there was no one left to speak for us.
Yeah. I think it was a Jewish person that wrote that.
Well, here we are again. Here we are. And why can't people figure this one out? This is like 1 + 1. Pay attention to history, because it is indeed repeating, and it's repeating on your ass.
Yeah, that's true.
So, Jeffrey Rucker, in the state size, the children belong to the state. Another aspect of the communist Marxist ideology that is behind the scenes. Yes, they do think that. I remember one time when my kids were in school, long time ago. It's like, it got out around town that there was a bomb threat, right? So run to school is like, I'm getting my kid. They're like, you can't have your kid. I'm like, you better get the fuck out of my way. I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm getting
I
my kid. I
remember
don't care. I don't care if we got to fight. I don't care if you call the cops. I'm getting my kid.
I remember that. I mean,
you don't own this child.
I remember that. Remember, we went to the school and we seen them.
Dan.
Hi, Dan. We seen
I
them
was
at
just
the
complimenting
windows.
you a minute ago.
We seen the kids at the windows trying to get out, and the teachers, and they wouldn't let them out. And all the parents was about ready to storm the school to get their children. I remember that. And I thought, oh my God, we're stuck out here. All these people are stuck out here, and all these kids are in the damn schoolhouse, and the teachers and the principals and the stuff and all the officials will not let them out. And there might be a bomb in there. It's insane.
Hey, well, thanks for dropping by, Dan. A like is a like, and thanks.
Have a good night, Dan.
By the way, I left a like on your stream as well, both on Rumble and YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I almost forgot. If you're still there, Dan, I was watching your YouTube and it quit. So then I went over to Rumble. Your YouTube just like hung up and wasn't live anymore.
Yeah. But it makes me so mad, because especially people with small children that have to put up with this kind of stuff all the time from the system. They're in a constant battle trying to tell their kids, hey, no, it's really not like what they're telling you in school. And then you got the other side telling them, oh, it's like this, and you can be anything, and you don't have to be a boy or a girl or whatever. It's horrible, because you're going to have some damn very confused children. And yes, YouTube is retarded lately, Dan.
Lately?
But yeah, it's just horrible.
Okay, I have a few pages that I want to cover. I just don't really know which ones to get to first. One is about the acquirement, the big purchase of EA games, and how the employees now are complaining about it. I think I'll cover that one next, but I got a few of them that goes to a few different places. EA employees describe sale of company as FU to all women and LGBTQ plus employees. So we spoke about this on the live stream, but a little bit. At least one Electronic Arts EA employee was not happy about the sale of the company to Saudi Arabia's public investment firm Silver Lake and Jared Kushner's affinity partners, describing it as a FU to women LGBTQ plus employees. Electronic Arts EA sold the company to PIF, Silver Lake, and Affinity Partners as part of a $55 billion sale to take the company private. Private means they don't have to bow down to investors. They don't have to take orders from anyone.
Well, that's a good thing.
Well, yeah, it's a very good thing because then they can't make demands like, oh, you got to make the women look like this and you got to pronouns and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But I don't know how I feel about such a vast company as EA, Electronic Arts, being partially or greatly owned by Saudi Arabian firm. Now, this Jared Kushner is in the Trump family, essentially. But
yeah,
this firm, I'm betting, has the majority of the shareholder there. So I don't know how I feel about that. But to be acquired by an investor consortium comprised of PIF, Silver Lake, and Affinity Partners in an all-out cash transaction. Gets all cash, $55 billion cash. Think about that.
That's not walking around money.
Oil money.
Yeah.
They've been collecting for decades. So, pick up where I was at. To take the company private. Okay. Notably, EA has not promoted values, but rather vices through the promotion of Pride Month. Absolutely true. And included all kinds of LGBTQ plus. I hate having to say that. Anyway, propaganda in its games from the so-called transgender character in Dragon Age. That fell hard. Adding in surgery scars and chest binders in The Sims 4. Chest binders.
They've ruined The Sims.
No, Roadkill is not a safe place.
Hi, Roadkill. And there's Raquel.
Oh, okay, yeah. Rat Quill.
No.
Okay, Raquel. Hey, okay, and creating homosexual characters for Apex Legends, among others. Additionally, the company also heavily promoted feminism in Battlefield 5 and pushed refugee crisis themes and climate change in Battlefield 2042. So the EA is known for just woke, like the players like, we don't want woke, and they're like, you will want woke. You take the woke.
They're gonna make them take it whether they like it or not.
Nevertheless, in response to the sale, an anonymous employee told Tilo, Andrew Wilson basically said, "F you to all women and LGBTQ employees at EA with this deal." The employee added, "It just shows how many people have been collateral this past year for executives to make out rich. Nothing feels great, and we know when the deal closes, it's going to get worse before it gets better, if better is even possible." What are they talking about? Executives to make it out rich. What do they think EA was? That's what it was, a machine to make people rich. That's why they brought in all this wokeness, because they got a lot of money granted to them to include it. It's more of the same, only they might not, hopefully won't buy into the woke ideology.
Well, I think since it's Saudi Arabia, I don't think they're going to.
Yeah, and the person that's connected to the Trump family as well.
Yeah. Maybe, I had a thought. This new deal here came about right after all that horrible stuff happened, right? What if they said, "Okay, we're gonna fight them where they started in games and take over the gaming industry." Like,
Well,
and then
okay, but I uh, I'll just be straight. I don't know much about the Saudi Arabians, their potential agenda. I do know they have insane money because of oil deals, right?
yeah.
So would we rather the gaming industry be this woke pile of crap or Saudi Arabian owned? I don't think we can say at this point, but I'm looking at two ugly choices.
Yeah, but I
So
do know.
from Roadkill 101, the Saudi government is still a bunch of savages. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, again, I've never really looked into them, but I can imagine. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And from Jeffrey Rucker, yep, wokeness is systematic money, awards, platforming, supporting each other, etc. Yep.
I
Yep.
don't. I just can't see the Saudi company agreeing to woke bullshit. I
Yes,
just can't see it
but
happening.
their agenda could be equally as bad. I don't know. I mean, again, I don't profess to know what they're into, but let's say it's child brides and
Oh yeah,
beheading your spiritual enemy and holy wars.
yeah, yeah.
And I'm gonna be like, the wokeness was, but this is, you know, it's like
True.
maybe I'll just quit playing games. How about that?
Yeah. I mean,
So another employee also told him, I'm nervous about what this means in terms of workforce once the deal is closed, as layoffs usually follow those type of acquisitions. Well, the video game industry has been on the verge of crashing and burning anyway because it's unsustainable. You got games taking 5 years with 100,000 people working on it for 5 years, and it's up to $55 million, or some cases 500 million to make this game, and then it flops because it's woke, and that's why it's crashing and burning. While you got these small teams going, watch us, look at this, check this out. They throw it out. Expedition 33 is like, yeah, so yeah, it's crashing and
it's like
burning anyway.
the small companies are watching the bigger companies fall, and they're going, "Hold my beer."
And
Watch this
and
and hold my beer.
and a 2D castle, Metroidvania style things, Hollow Knight, right? Big hit, big hit. It's like these other people going, we'll show you how it's done.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all
Yeah.
these take 5 years and $500 million, and like, here's a game, and you're gonna play as a black samurai in ancient times.
That was just bad. That was just bad. That was
On
real
top of it,
bad.
made by a French company. It's kind of like the Canadian company that made a game about a black girl in the country deep south.
Yeah.
And
And not to
so when it goes, and on a personal level, those future owners are really not in line with my values and beliefs. The second person at it. Guess what? Neither are the players.
no.
You know who's in line with your beliefs? A group that's somewhere in a safe place.
Yeah, they're
In an
all in a
echo
closet
chamber.
somewhere.
That's the funny thing about echo chambers. Like, a lot of people are saying it must be true. And then anytime you get outside that, it's like, no, no, I want to hear it. Get away from me. Let me get back in my space where people are sane and this is the real world. No, that's an echo chamber. It's an echo chamber. Why do you think these games are crashing and burning so hard?
Yeah. Well, it's like I say sometimes when I go out
Um,
in public and
I just need to point this out. Raquel,
Raquel.
yeah, Raquel, I am a woman and I don't have a problem with this deal. So how ill to women exactly? Well, to be fair, the LGBTQ at no point specifies women unless you're a lesbian woman. Am I correct on that?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
but anyway, yeah, it's not. I mean, your gender should not come into play in this. What you think or feel about it.
Nope. But I often say when I go out, yeah, I'm going back to the house because at least the kind of crazy there I'm used to dealing with. I'm not used to dealing with all this other crazy. They can have their crazy and keep it over there to themselves. I don't want no part of it. But that's just me. I suppose I'm strange.
What's that sign I got out in front of my place? Like a good neighbor, stay over there.
Like a good neighbor, stay over there.
Yeah, I've got that sign,
Yeah,
and
it
it
works.
has diverted people away.
hmm
It's working.
It works. I need to get me a sign like that. I think I will. Didn't you get that sign off of Amazon?
Probably. I don't even know, but anyway,
I'll have to look up and see if I can find one.
yeah. So from Roadkill 101 plus Rackquill, the partners in this deal, Saudis, can't stand strong, independent women. Yeah, I don't mean any disrespect by reading the name wrong. It's just it comes off to me when I visually read it, it just comes off odd spelled to me. Maybe it's not. I guess it's not, but it's just my little quirk.
You're terrible with names. It's true. You're just terrible with names.
Oh yeah, I agree on that. Entertainment should be fun, not about propaganda stuff. Absolutely. I mean, why? I, I knew the world before propaganda was included in everything, and it was better.
Well, I remember back when people would talk about how North Korea was full of propaganda and it was in everything, and they were saying, "Oh, it'll never happen in the United States," and look where we are now. It's happened.
But Roadkill does have a point. If they put the Saudi values into these games with their own propaganda, they will have an issue with women. So that is a
Yeah,
potential way it could affect women. But if they're like, we don't care, we just want that money, like EA had coming in, then it won't.
true.
Yeah. So for the usual panelists that I usually have on here, I decided I would just throw on a surprise show with just me and Elijah, and we'd cover a few topics just to shake things up a little bit, a little more streamlined.
Yeah, because, well, Monday's show was, yeah, chaotic
It
to say the
it
least.
was quite the shit show, and it got abysmal numbers. That I haven't gotten numbers that bad in more than a year.
Yeah. So we thought we'd do this to say, surprise, motherfuckers. We're back. But anyway, yeah. But I wonder what they have planned for that company. Because a lot of times when when bigger corporations take on what they deem as a smaller company, they kind of eat it and don't do a damn thing with it.
Well, this isn't the case. They are not themselves a video game or technology company, but rather a bunch of people with a lot of money. So they're buying everyone is like, keep running like you always run, only this time we're getting the profit.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, I don't know. To me, that just
Hopefully they'll be like, but take the woke stuff out. Hopefully they'll do that. There's no guarantee.
yeah,
It does have a point there. A few of us were worried they acquired it to gut it. Myself, I've never been a big fan of EA games. There's a few good ones, sure, but I could be like, I don't care. While some of you like, no, right? But each to their own. Um, I wouldn't mind if they gutted the entire industry and then people could rise up with good stuff for a change.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. I mean, give the independent companies more of a chance to create what they love doing and share it with everybody. And you'll get some flop games that are duds, but you get some real good ones too, like Expedition 33. That was a beautiful game. I thought that was really well done, and with a fraction of the cost that the bigger companies say they have to pay to create something like that, which they did it in a shorter amount of time too. So that money's going somewhere and it ain't into the game. And that's just the truth of it.
Yeah, I'm glad to see that there's a few people showing up to the chat and to watch us two old born motherfuckers. Because I did zero advertising, none, no advertising, and it was also like, hey, I'm just gonna throw on a extra show. I'm just throwing it out there. No,
We're doing it live.
Yeah, like fuck it, we're doing it live.
Yeah, we're doing it live. Well, sometimes you just got to do it like that.
Sounds kind of dirty.
I didn't mean it dirty.
Yeah, to be honest, from Raquel, to be honest, I think the scales are tipping to us normies' favor. They don't consider us normies. They actually consider themselves the normies and us the extremists. The problem is they have such big money interest and power behind them that we could rail against it for 100 years with only the occasional minor victory.
This is true. I'm just hoping that it doesn't flip too far the other way. There has to be a balance between the two. You go too far one way and it gets crazy.
The only games you're allowed to get are Bible games.
Yeah.
And they must fit this depiction of the Bible.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the only thing. I think right now we're walking a tightrope between the extreme left and the right. And there has to be a balance between the two or it goes haywire. And I've often said they're going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing until the pendulum swings back. And when it does, it's going to get ugly. It's going to get really ugly really fast.
Things are ugly now. Yeah. Things are ugly now. It was, we're going to see the other side of ugly. It's like, girl got an ugly face. Don't let her turn around. The other side gonna be ugly.
Oh, God. You're terrible.
And so next topic here. Netflix blasted for pushing transgender propaganda onto kids, which comes to a surprise to no one. Netflix was put on blast for pushing transgender propaganda on kids through its 2022 series Dead End Paranormal Park. It gets more interesting. Just wait for it. So this damn near unpronounceable name, Chaya Rechik, whatever. The woman behind the Libs of TikTok account shared a clip from the show where one of the characters says, "I'm trans, Norma. And everyone at school knows. And everyone at home knows." Pugsley reminded me how important it is to live your life without apology.
Are you fucking serious?
Just wait. There's a bit more to it. So from
Oh,
Jeffrey Rucker, that is one thing that a lot of people have in common. They don't want any God in the world. That's true, because then they feel like then sin is a real thing and they're beholden to something, and they're like, I can do what I want, and nothing and consequences shouldn't be a thing.
yeah.
So from Raquel, yeah, I heard that show is canceled, and some people are canceling their Netflix account too. Yes, a lot of people are. So this clip has very low volume, but I had read the line that was read in it. I don't know if I should play. They'll be like, copyright, copyright.
Yeah, they would.
In my whole videos anyway. The show, which was created by Hamish Steele, what a name. These names, I'm telling you, these names. What happened to Bob and Fred and and Sue, and what happened to these names? So Hamish Steele originally aired 2 seasons on Netflix back in 2022 and adapts Steele's graphic novel series Dead India. According to Steele's own website, the graphic novel sees the individual of Barney and Norma team up with Pugsley, get this, who is possessed by a demon king, and Courtney, a fallen angel.
Alrighty then. Yeah. I don't blame people for canceling their Netflix subscriptions over this.
In fact, the third graphic novel in the Dead India trilogy sees Barney and Norma ally with demons in search for both freedom and peace. Ally with demons in search for freedom and peace. Doesn't that sound like a certain LGBTQIA plus group?
Yeah.
So Roadkill is absolutely correct. A lot to unpack there. And then Jeffrey Rucker. Yep, the truth is coming out.
This is one of them kinds of things where I don't want it unpacked. I just want it away.
Well, okay, here's the problem. It does need unpacked. People do need to be made aware, because they're like to the little kid, hey, okay, I'm going to turn on Netflix for you. Just sit quiet and watch Netflix. And they're not paying attention. They don't know what, and the kid's like, yay, I like this show.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is this? What is this doing? It might be a while before the parent goes, what the hell is they putting in my child's mind?
Yeah.
For that matter, in their heart. And so, as for the show, it is being targeted at children, as Ratchick noted. It has a TV Y7 rating, which according to TV guidelines means the programming is designed for children ages 7 and older.
Oh, it's trying to indoctrinate them little then.
So, did it say I know it said an angel. Did it say a fallen angel?
Yeah, fallen angel.
Okay. A fallen angel, a demon king, allying with demons in order for peace and blah, blah, blah. And trans people. Are people blind? What's happening, Yeah. 2 words, parental controls. Or 1 word, sanity. What happened to it? Where's it going? They need it. People need it. So, from Midnight Ladybug, I really hate when they push this on kids. Those kids only need to worry about toys and learning school and doing right, not sexuality.
Yeah, well, they don't. They're so small. They don't know what's what.
So, from Roadkill 101, my daughter is 8, and this would fall under my Netflix Kids account. It's not okay.
They're sneaking
what was that
in there.
What was that one about the kids coming of age and they had these creatures that You know, at the beginning of the show, they played a version of Changes.
Oh, uh, I know what Big Mouth. That's it.
Yeah, Big Mouth was all about sexuality, and
Mm-hmm.
it got raunchy at points, but it could kind of fall under the category of educational, but it was still clearly is like, yeah, the raunchiness. Maybe kids shouldn't be watching this.
Yeah. You know, they're just sneaking this into everything.
And
And
so, yeah,
parents, they have to be very diligent because their kids could be watching this kind of stuff and them not even know it. You know, they just put the TV on for the kid and go do something else or whatever, you know.
yeah. Okay, this show is not appropriate for adults, let alone children, and never should have been greenlit, let alone produced and still distributed on Netflix. As my colleague Art Gaines noted in his recent article decrying Prime Video's Gen V, which we just talked about that, their productions are not art but propaganda designed to erode virtue, vilify white men, and glorify wickedness. Yeah, yeah. I mean, what else can I say? Yeah. Netflix should remove this show from their streamer and delete any copies of it so it can no longer be decimated and infect the minds of anyone who may watch it with its poison. Here's the thing. Yeah, there's this show and there's that show, but they have so many. There's just so many out there now. The thing is a lot of college age people that get out of college, they get into the industry and like, I want to be a writer, just like all these people in transitions, like I want to be a teacher. And that, we missed it. We missed it in the early 2000s where these people were becoming this. And now they're like, well, they're a child. You have to, and just support them. And now they're adults and they're like, I want to write shows. I want to teach your kids. And we ignored it. We're like, well, they're children and they should be encouraged and developed. And here we are. Here we are.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as parents, it's your job to teach your children how to be a productive adult in society. And part of that is telling them, no, you cannot do this. This is not a good idea.
From Raquel, this is the French film Cuties all over again. These kind of shows are inappropriate for kids. And as the article states, it's kind of inappropriate for adults.
Yeah.
I mean, they're literally going, be trans. It's okay. We're be yourself and we'll love and support you for it. Be and ally with demons for peace and freedom.
Yeah.
What? What?
The world has gone insane. You know, it's just gone insane when they tell people, "Oh, you can align with the king of
Nope.
a demon king and a fallen angel." You know, it's insane.
Nope.
Nope. Whole lot of nope. And
Yeah, I'm looking for good sound bites.
You
for
stupid.
that.
and you know, you can't be afraid to tell your kids no, and you can't be afraid to say, "Oh, you're not watching that," and they'll ask why, and they'll throw a little fit, and you'll
Yeah,
say,
kind of like
"Because I said so."
it comes out. Minecraft is full of child diddlers and predators, and the parents are like, "Oh my god, oh really? My kids play Minecraft, or not Minecraft, but rather Roblox, right?" And then you're like, "And why haven't you stopped them?" Like, I can't stop them what they do on their tablets. Take their tablets. You are the adult. You are the parent. Do something. Do something. Do whatever you gotta do. But you're gonna be singing a different tune when something happens to them now, aren't you?
Yeah. because, like I said, you can't be afraid to be a parent. That's your
Clown
job.
world. See, clown world. See that?
Yep, I see it. It's exactly
So,
right, Raquel.
the show is also saying, listen to demons and fallen angels, not a good message, whether you believe it or not. Absolutely.
Yeah.
There was that reminds me of that TV show. And it was a Netflix show, unless I'm mistaken. Lucifer, which they portray him as this sex crazed, fun loving guy with magical like powers, and he was the hero savior of the show, and they even kind of made it a love story. And I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah, I remember that show. And I'm like, this is twisted. I mean, it's just twisted. So it's not a stretch of the imagination that they would create a show where they're telling little kids to listen to fallen angels and demons, you know. Now, the only way I could see it is if it was based in Japanese culture where they call angels and they call everything supernatural a
Yeah,
demon of some
yeah.
sort.
In certain Asian cultures, any spirit or entity they refer to as a demon.
Yeah. And
So
that's
there is a separation there in that.
but I don't think that show is based in Japan or anything like that.
Nah, I highly doubt that.
It's just insanity.
So from Roadkill 101, $4.99, just paying some taxes. Thank you, Roadkill 101.
he's
And
he's
the
paying
bot
his
thinks you as well.
he's
Okay,
paying
so-
his taxes. Oh Lord.
Raquel, one fallen angel you should never listen to is the devil himself.
Yeah.
There is some debate. There's a difference. Some people don't see a difference, but historically speaking, there's a difference between Satan and Lucifer. But that's a bit much to get into. But if you're curious about it, just read up on it.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think that, from any stretch of the imagination, those people that created them shows knows exactly what they're doing and they should be ashamed of themselves. But they're not ashamed because they're making the money. Money is their God. And they fully accept that ideology.
So is pride.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I could see, having enough to be comfortable. But if you're doing things that hurt people in that fashion to get just recognition or whatever, you're doing something wrong. And to me, that those people that do things like that are really miserable people.
Yeah. Yep. The 7 deadly sins. I don't know exactly. I'm sure Jeffrey would know, but I don't know the exact origin of it being the 7 deadly sins. It's not biblical, is it?
I don't know. I'll have to look that up.
As for the people that's usually on the panel, we will resume function as usual on the usual days. So this was just a surprise. Just me and Elijah jumping on screen.
Yep.
So
he
says it's Catholic.
Yeah, that's what I was looking up. It's 4th century monk. Let's see. Pope Gregory. And then Pope Gregory in the 6th century revised the list.
I like the fact that we can search things real quick and get facts, but my concern is how much of those facts aren't facts, because especially these days, the way they like to rewrite everything. And then there's thousands of years of history in which there was like, I don't like this, I'm gonna change it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was reprinted and redistributed, and then somebody else is like, you know what, I don't like this, I'm gonna change it.
Yeah.
I mean, look how much it could happen in 20 years. Now think 2000 plus.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you have so many reiterations of the Bible, it's just silly. I mean, you walk into any bookstore and, there's up to dozen different versions of the Bible itself.
So Jeffrey Rucker, he says, good to understand, but not specifically spelled out in the Bible, more inferred.
Yeah. It didn't really come out and say those things. That like the list, but it basically said it without saying it.
So yeah, this stream is not going to be like a forever stream like we usually have. People will be like they fall asleep watching it, and then they wake up and like, these motherfuckers are still going.
Yeah.
Well, they get up from work and wake up for work and get their coffee or whatever, right? And it's like, what is that? They check their clock. I was just this can't be right.
It's just insane. But those long streams like that, they get chaotic too.
From Raquel says, those are the best kind of streams. They can be a bit trying on a person, but it depends. Oh, every week, we do a couple week long streams. Sometimes they're great. Sometimes 7 hours go by and it's like, oh fuck, we're ending already. And sometimes an hour in is like, I don't know if I can make it. This is it's all over the place, and people are sometimes people are a bit ill mannered. So sometimes it's like, nothing's cooperating. Just it's not flowing. It's clashing.
Especially the later it gets, some people get kind of ill.
Which that was Monday's stream. A lot of AFKers, a lot of bitching, a lot of it just didn't flow. That was a pitiful stream, and I'm like, that's one of the reasons that me and Elijah jumped on here, and is like, extra stream, just we're gonna streamline it, just two of us. There's no we're not talking over each other. There's nobody getting pissed. There's nobody confused. There's nobody going, hey, look what's going on in the stream. It's all the streamers. It's like, motherfucker, you're on a stream. You're on. What are you doing? You are on a stream now. Nobody's like, I'm on here, but I'm actually watching this other while I'm on Discord, while I'm watching these 4 others, and while I'm doing this. But I'm here. No, really, I'm here. I'm here for. Seriously, motherfucker, seriously.
Or somebody go, let me talk. Let me. She's a hoot, I'm telling you.
Yeah, so sometimes as fun as can be, other times it's pure maddening.
Yeah, like Monday. Oh Lord, Monday was a trial. It's I don't know what happened to make Monday so difficult, but it was. It was. I don't want to repeat a Monday at all. No, I'd rather not.
Yeah, this is a production of Noise Pollution. Not let's talk about every other channel that's currently live, and let's fuck off over here and let's fall asleep and let's bitch and moan and whine. This is a show of its own, and we're supposed to be for an audience, not to be fuck offs.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Whew. But our streams are unusual. That is true.
Okay, so yeah, and yeah, I'm bitching a little, but I try to maintain it.
Well,
I make every attempt.
if you didn't, if you didn't bitch a little bit, somebody would think you were sick or something.
If I didn't bitch a little, I would blow up in a very ugly way on people,
Yeah, I know.
and I don't want to do that.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. But
Okay,
it's good.
so on to our next topic. Marvel Comics writer, another screwy ass name, Nisi, how the fuck are you supposed to say that?
Okay, wait a minute. I'll give it a try. Ta-Nehisi. Ta-Ne. I can't.
Yeah, Marvel comic writer Tata, Coates, Coates. Oh,
Coats.
okay. Tata Coates slanders Charlie Kirk, claiming the purpose of his life was hate. I think he kind of missed the point. Yeah, but
Oh.
okay. There's a video to accompanying this, but Marvel Comics writer Ta Coates slandered TP USA founder and Christian political activist Charlie Kirk as a hate monger and even claimed the purpose of his life was hate. Yep,
Oh.
sounds like a boob.
Yeah.
In an appearance on the Ezra Klein show, Coates was asked why Charlie Kirk was winning. Winning. I didn't know this. I mean, winning. I hate phrasing it like that myself. Speaking for myself, I don't like that phrasing. I'm not out there like I gotta win against them today. I feel like we gotta set the human spirit right. I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of people are sick and poisoned and they're not aware that they are. I feel
Well,
there's a sickness over the land.
well, speaking for my own self, my thought process is it's a form of some kind of possession where they're that way, but they don't know they're that way. To me, that's what it is. It's some form of just spiritual
Well,
possession.
I've brought it up before, but I've often wondered if, they say the mind virus. I often wonder if it really is a virus or a parasite that, or something like that, that is turning them that way. I can't help but to truly, honestly wonder that. And
It's a good
yes,
thought.
of course, I include the spirituality of it. For sure, a spiritual sickness, exactly, Ali, possession. Oh yeah, I absolutely say it's spiritual. When you are more spiritually whole, this is just my take, you are less likely to get sick. Not to say that you're impervious, but when your spirit is sick, you are more likely to get sick. And when you're sick, you're likely more spiritually vulnerable than as well. It kind of goes both ways. That's again my take on it. Not something I nailed down, but it's a momentary belief. Okay, so he says, and I don't take any joy in saying, but we sometimes in saying this, but sometimes we soothe ourselves by pointing out that love, acceptance, warmth, that these are powerful forces. I believe they are. I also believe hate is a powerful force. I believe it's a powerful unifying force, and I think Charlie Kirk was a hate monger. He must not heard a single word that Charlie Kirk said. And he goes on, I really need to say this over and over again. I have a politic that rejects violence, that rejects political violence, and I take no joy in the killing of anyone, no matter what they said. But if you ask me, there he goes. But if you ask me what the truth of his life was and the truth of his public life, I would have to tell you it's hate. I had to tell you it's the usage of hate and the harnessing of hate towards political end, he concluded. Now think about the way he worded that. I reject violence everywhere. I reject violence in all ways. But
Yeah, he's saying, yeah. I mean, read between the lines. Anybody with any sense would know that he's saying he agrees
yeah,
with what happened without saying it.
it's kind of like, and I say this as an example, so nobody have a fit. It's kind of like going, I'm not racist. I don't hate black people. But I just think certain people should swing. Now,
Yeah.
again, that was an example. I'm not saying that. That was an example. And you would be like, yeah, I see where you're at. And yeah, that's some real double speak.
Yeah, it is. It's saying it without saying it. And he should be ashamed of himself.
So I'm going to read this part, then I'm going to go to the video a little bit. Actually, I'll play a bit of the video then because this kind of follows it up.
Why do you think he was winning?
I mean, that's not really hard for me to understand. I mean, if I could just back up for a second, I want to say two things. You know, I published a book 10 years ago, Between the World and Me. And one of the constant reactions to that was that it was overly pessimistic about this country. It was overly pessimistic about the future. Why are you so dark, Ta-Nehisi? Why can't you give us any sense of hope? And the reason I would always say is because any sort of sober examination of the history of this country says that those of us who believe in equality, those of us who believe in respecting the humanity of our neighbors and of, you know, everyone, that we're up against some really, really powerful forces of history and powerful narratives. And the implication of that is, however good we felt in 2013, 14, 15, 2008, there will be backlash. You know, people, you know, those of us who were crying in 2008 watching Obama, you know what I mean, give that speech, you know, those of us who were so moved by watching him and Michelle and step outside the car and felt so much fear for him, and then when nothing happened, felt so great about that. Those of us who believe that seeing a Black family in the White House mirroring what, you know, some of us felt the best of us was the best that we had to offer, there are other people watching that too. You know what I mean? And I don't take any joy in saying this, but we sometimes soothe ourselves by pointing out that love, acceptance, warmth, that these are powerful forces. I believe they are. I also believe hate is a powerful force. I believe it's a powerful unifying force. And I think Charlie Kirk was a hate monger. You know, I really need to say this over and over again. I have a politic that rejects violence, that rejects political violence. I take no joy in the killing of anyone, no matter what they said. But if you ask me what the truth of his life was, you know, the truth of his public life, I would have to tell you it's hate. I would tell you I'd have to tell you it is the usage of hate and the harnessing of hate towards political ends.
Then let me flip that question actually a bit. Why are we losing?
We're losing because there are always moments when we lose.
See, that feels very fatalistic to me.
It doesn't feel fatalistic to me. It feels like the truth. I mean, and
let's pause it for a moment here. He makes no mention of everything Obama did, as in bombing children. I don't have, you know, a list to immediately recall, but there is a long list of things that Obama did, and then, you know, they gave him the Peace Prize, Nobel Peace Prize, and I remember when Obama became president, and I wasn't like, oh my God, a Black person, no, I just cannot. I was like, I was optimistic. This was before things got as politically driven as they are today. But you want to know who helped it get it there? Obama. Kind of like when Michelle Obama went, white folk was wrong with America.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yep. She deepened that divide. She used the racial stick to deepen that divide line.
Yeah, and if I remember it, a whole lot of other people remembered it too.
Okay, so I'm gonna let this continue a little bit more.
Let me express what I mean. I'm Ta-Nehisi Coates. I'm the writer. I'm the individual, right? But I am part of something larger, and I've always felt myself as part of something larger. I have a tradition. I have ancestry. I have heritage. What that means is that
Let me just pause it there. He's like, I have ancestry. I have heritage. And what is he looking across the table going, this man doesn't. This man has no heritage. This man has no ancestry. That is a thing today where the black people like white folk got no ancestry. White folk got no culture. They got no like they kind of did the entire world. You know, they built castles. They had art. They you know a lot of things that other cultures then picked up on and mimicked and made it their own. Including African cultures. Oh, he's looking across the table. Is like, this is a white man, but I've got ancestry. I've got heritage, and let me speak on that because a black man got to speak, and you got to listen. Yes, this guy's head is simply twisted.
Do whatever I do within the time that I have in my life, whatever time I'm gifted with. And much of what I do is built on what other people did before then. And then after that, I leave the struggle where I leave it. And then hopefully it's in a better place. Oftentimes it's not. That's the history, in fact. And then my progeny pick it up and they keep it going. I am descended from people who in their lifetime fought with all their might for the destruction of chattel slavery in this country. And they never saw it. They never saw it. In my personal belief system, they died in, defeat, in darkness, and so I guess the privilege that I draw out of this, the honor that
yeah, because no other cultures had slavery and child slavery, in his mind, I guess. Yeah, it was just a black thing. It was just a black thing. Even the word, even the word comes from the Slavic.
Yeah. Well, this man here.
Not to mention, white people didn't go over there and go, there's different skin color people, grab them. They went over there and it's like, they're having an auction. It looks like they're selling their own people. I can't help it. I didn't make it so, but that's the true history.
Yeah. But this man here, the interviewer is not buying any of what he's saying so far. Because I get that from the body language. He's like sitting there going, is this person serious?
Every little thing he's saying has come from a place of ego. My heritage, our people struggle. Ego, pride, ego.
There's not a people on the planet that hasn't struggled. That don't exist. And for him to get up there and say those horrible things about somebody that was just trying to bridge the gap between the left and the right, he's very uneducated, and yes, he speaks eloquently and stuff like that, with the exception to the word ask. Yeah, he didn't. He said axe. Yeah. But anyway,
who was that black man who was a comedian that started making horror movies? Jordan Peele, was it him?
Yeah.
It reminds me of his movies. It's like, I'm a horror director now, and I put out these movies, and then you're like, okay, horror movie. I'm excited. I want to watch. And it's like, oh my God, white people. White people. There's a white person. Oh my God, and they don't like us. Oh my God. And that's every one of his movies.
Yeah. It's like, what the hell? Oh, these people, I'm telling you, they're so twisted. And if you try to speak logically to them, you can't unravel that knot that's in their brain. That it's hardwired by now. They thoroughly believe it.
I haven't went through all this, but I'm gonna see if he's got anything more, to say that's worth listening.
I draw out of this is not that things will necessarily be better in my lifetime, but that I will make the contribution that I am supposed to make. The fact of the matter is, as horrifying as that the killing of Charlie Kirk was, and as horrifying as the feeling is, this moment that we are in, an era of political violence, and I don't want to sound flip here. Political violence is the norm for the Black experience in this country. It just is. I don't even mean like the Malcolm X, Martin Luther King variety of it, right? Which is the norm too. You would be hard pressed to have a conversation with a Black person in this country that is a descendant of slavery and not have them be able to reach maybe right here or to tell you themselves, look, my uncle, my grandfather, my great-grandfather, they lived in a small town in Mississippi, in Tennessee, in Alabama. They got into some sort of dispute with a white man, and either they were lynched or we had to run. Political violence runs.
Yeah. Okay.
I was waiting on it, and there it is.
There he goes with if you had an uncle, a blah, 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 a father, in the South, they got lynched. Okay, I'm thinking 5 generations. 5 generations I've been in the South, primarily Mississippi and Alabama. It didn't go that way. You got groups of Blacks beating down whites, and the cops would be like, we're not touching this.
Yeah.
And I've witnessed race wars in this itty bitty town a couple times over the years. One of those times, the police locked themselves in the police station and wouldn't answer their phones. I don't know what he's going. Oh, listen, I know there's been cases where Black people got lynched. Yes, but in the last 40 or so years, I don't know I've never witnessed it. I'm in the hard country like he's talking about. I'm in it. And so are you. Have you witnessed anything like this?
No. No, I have not. And
yeah, okay, sure, it happens. But how many times has it happened to white people as well? And for that matter, it's like, let me just name some Southern places, and you're an uncle, a father, a grandfather. Is like, I'm thinking quite a few decades back now, and I'm like, I've never seen a case of it.
Nope.
And I've known some extremely racist motherfuckers, and they never went, we're going lynching one. We got us one.
Yeah, I've never seen it either.
I've known people in the Klan. I've known them, and it has not, in my experience, has not been that way. I mean, yes, of course it's been that way, but not since what would you say, the 60s?
Maybe the late 60s through the 70s. Because I was born in the 70s, and I remember a good bit of it. I was born in the early 70s. So I remember a good bit of it. No, it did not happen.
No, I mean, as far back as I can remember, they kind of kowtowed to the Blacks because they were afraid of getting called racist.
Yeah.
They got away with it. And I'm not trying to pick on a race here. I'm telling you personal experience. I mean, it may have been different somewhere else, but I can only talk about my experience.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. As far as I know, nothing like that has ever happened.
So Jeffrey Rucker, he says there are true races out there, but they are rare and not welcome among most groups of decent people. I've known a lot of true races. And I'm looking at them going, motherfucker, you racist. I'm not. I'm not that. No,
Yeah.
don't bring that here. No. And they never went, I'm gonna go lynch me one.
Yeah, they
Never.
They,
And not in my lifetime.
mm-mm. It never happened,
I
as
mean,
far as I know.
early 80s, Deep South. You never heard, oh, boys got together, they going to hunt that, and string them up or beat them up. Or no. Where the hell they getting their information from?
I don't know. But like I said, as far as I know, nothing like that ever happened. As far as I know.
Okay. Let's continue. Spent enough time on it, so let's get through it. Harvard Law professor Adrian Vermeule, I don't know, provided a proper reaction to Coates' slander, saying, "My take on this, for whatever it's worth, is that people are reading into it a depth that it doesn't have. The simpler read is that American liberalism has been intellectually enfeebled by having it too easy for too long. All liberals had to do was mouth a few incantory words and the world would cower before them. Now that magic has lost its power and some are realizing it more quickly than others." Like I was saying, in my time, it's like, the blacks are riled up. Let's, stay clear, make room, and not agitate them. And again, I'm not trying to throw crap at, going blacks. I'm saying there was a black community, and when they generally said, we got an issue, let's raise hell about it, there was more of a divide back in the 80s and 90s. There was like the blacks and the whites. Mm-hmm. It's a little different now, but I'm speaking from a time when things were different.
Yeah. I remember back then, and it was like they had their side of town and white people had their side of town. And, that's just the way it was. It just was naturally that way.
Yeah, and you generally didn't fight. I mean, the young ones like to jump on people, and then sometimes it'd be a racial thing stirred up, and the cops, for the most part, didn't want to get involved.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, again, I'm speaking for a small area a long time ago, so don't be like, that's not right, and I know better, and you're racist, and I can't rewrite history. I can tell you what I lived through.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a little bit more reading here in this. Okay. Coates' rotten fruit is easily seen when he uses phrases like respecting the humanity of our neighbors and of everyone. This sounds great and is clearly crouched in Christ's second commandment, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. However, Coates doesn't believe this, given he's an advocate of murdering the most innocent. In February 2016, he made it abundantly clear, nevertheless, my basic feelings about the kind of American in which I want to live have not changed. So the kind of American he wants to live. Okay, I think a world with equal access to a safe, quality, and affordable education, with the right to health care, with strong restrictions on massive wealth accumulation, with guaranteed child care, and with access to full gamut of birth control, including abortion, is a better world. I agree with some of that. I think, a lot of that's great stuff. It's like healthcare, yeah, affordable education, yeah. Healthcare, all, good stuff. Abortion, I'm like, there's people out there abusing it, like hard abusing it. There needs to be some restrictions there, obviously.
Yeah.
So this man, I don't honestly think he's speaking from a place of being truly educated or experienced. He's speaking from a place of his political values and being black.
He's just pushing his political agenda on everybody, his own identity politics, because all he said was me, I, and all that stuff. It's not we or anything like that.
When I speak, I like to include my personal experiences, because anybody can go, I feel, I believe, and I gotta go, well, I've kind of lived through this, so that gives me a little bit of right to say something on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, as Jeffrey says, they're indoctrinated. Absolutely.
It's just sad that people
It's
like
more than
this are
sad.
getting, yeah. I can't put into words how I feel about this after listening to the man talk and all that stuff. Because, yeah, he's pretty well spoken, but he's so simple, it's not even funny.
And by the way, he has been a writer for the Black Panther comic.
Oh, okay. Well, that explains some things. Okay. But, he's glorifying something horrific that happened that affected millions of people, and he's basically saying it's okay.
And then he's trying to cover up with, I don't believe in violence of any kind, but these are the kind of people I want to live, which is saying these are the people I want to die.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think so too. I mean,
kind of like, I don't believe in any violence, but
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I just hate it. I hate it that it's come to this.
I don't want this stream to run on too long. I'll probably throw up one more article, which I've got a few ready to go, but I don't want to stream to go on too long. Scientists just let AI create viruses that kill living organisms, and it worked. So, Stanford University researchers succeed in creating the first virus designed by artificial intelligence. Nature reports on the 20th. The photo shows viruses surrounding E. coli B cells. The pinkish virus, which shows kind of red there, is designed using AI. It seems like a theme from sci-fi thriller film, but it just happened for real. Now you got to think all this actually means. Okay, it's like, oh, they created this virus to kill other viruses. Think of all the potential uses here. Think what this actually means. That means they can target specific DNA and have AI design it for that and wipe out entire nations, entire bloodlines. They could like program it for your family. They could program it for all Saudi Arabians. You get the picture.
Yeah.
A team of researchers in the US gave an AI model millions of viral genomes and told it, make something new. Out came not copies or mutations, but completely synthetic viruses, structures that have never been made in nature. They were then released on drug-resistant E. coli in the lab. 16 of them were alive enough to infect and kill. Think about that. A machine produced sequences of code that resulted in biological entities that could kill real-life organisms.
That's scary.
These are not life in terms of classical definitions, yet they behave like living things, attacking, replicated, and destroyed. So So these false, fake viruses could probably breed us, in the sense of a word, as well, just like a real virus. The researchers used a simple DNA, that symbol here is a symbol for phi, phi X174 as a foundation point, but the AI went far beyond it, designing original viral blueprints. The AI design phage even accomplished in the lab what nature failed to do. So they're like, okay, here's what you got to work with. And then AI just blew their minds with what it made. This, like I said, it could wipe out bloodlines. It could wipe out nations. On the bright side, it could wipe out cancer. It could solve all kinds of medical things. On the dark side, they could program it to wipe anybody or races or whatever out that they so choose.
Well,
from Jeffrey Rucker, as it was in the days of Noah, that's why it's important to know about the genetic shenanigans that went on in ancient times.
Yeah. Well, I see this as a potential government weapon for sure.
Oh yeah, yeah. And here's the thing: all these medical uses, this could cure so many things out there. Do you think we're gonna get it? Do you think we're ever gonna see it?
No.
You know who will? Billionaires, political figures.
Yeah. The people that can benefit from this kind of technology will never see it. Like you said, it's going to be used it'll probably be used for a weapon or for, like you said, billionaires and stuff.
Okay, immediately I'm thinking, yeah, they could wipe out whole races if they so chose, whole nations, or they might could cure hundreds, thousands of things with it. But I can't help to think, I haven't made the connection yet, but I can't help to think there's other things that I have not thought about with the potential of this that it could do.
Could they control somebody with these things?
Well, it acts like a virus, right? You essentially have to think what known viruses is out there, and what are they capable of? Like rabies, right? Rabies makes somebody so deathly afraid of water they will physically reject it and go into convulsions even.
Yeah, that's true.
Now this is rumor, speculation. Some would say it's science, but there's studies. There's been studies that said that people with gut bacteria issues have a correlation with turning gay. Of course, the whole scientific community is like, no, we reject that. We will not hear of it. But what if? We're saying, what if? What if?
Well, I mean, I don't want to say it's totally impossible. I mean, it sounds outlandish, but you never know.
And so, from Jeffrey Rucker, or they will couple it with genetic changes that they don't tell people about. Yeah, absolutely. For one is like auto vaccinations, for just one of so many possible examples. So from Raquel, playing with fire here, not good. There are some things that mankind should not tamper with, obviously. Exactly. Yep. Now, I believe in the medical benefits, but here's the problem with mankind. You put a good tool in their hand and they're stupid. They're stupid with it. Just like when there was computers, it's like some people was like, we love computers. And other people were like, nerds. And then they're like, we're going to put a computer. And that's going to be your phone. And it's going to be in your pocket. You're going to take it everywhere with you. So a good tool. They can contact you anywhere. You can look stuff up. What did people do with it? They made it like the ultimate vanity mirror. They're texting and driving. It made them deficient. Give them this powerful tool, and they become fools. So
I can't tell you.
Think of a tool this powerful.
Yeah. I can't tell you how many times I've nearly been run over driving, but by somebody texting and driving.
They're recording fights and laughing about it. They're taking pictures of their privates. They're taking nudes and blackmailing people with it. They're all the nastiness. So it's like magic from the heavens in their hands. And what do they do with it? What do they do?
They squander it and use it for stupid stuff.
So when we get more powerful tools, we become bigger idiots.
Well, it's kind of like when you give you give a monkey a tool, they're gonna make a mess with it. Same thing. They don't know exactly what they got. They just know it's shiny, and they like the instant gratification they get from it. So
yeah, not to mention the tool phone analogy. Now they're glued to it. Now they don't communicate with other people. They don't go outside. They're just like all day long.
Yeah.
All day long, all night long. This is like, but I got it. But I got it. You're not, you're barely human anymore. You're not doing the things that, keep you alive and healthy and sane. Knock it off.
Yeah.
And parents are like, it's okay. They're quiet. So I just let them. Don't be an adult. Be a parent.
Yeah.
So,
I don't think kids should have that kind of stuff until they're a lot older.
It's from Jeffrey Rucker. Kids raised with a crutch can't even use their own built-in computer, which he's referring to their brain.
Yeah. That's sad too. I weep for the future.
It reminds me of all these people. It's kind of like there was this kind of slight of debate about iPhones. It's like, well, I got mine for free. I use it because I got it for free. You didn't get nothing for free. You got it. They're like, it was a promotion deal to get you hooked. It's included in your contract cost. You're not getting. I really had to explain this. I shouldn't have to.
I remember you having that conversation with that person too, and I'm sitting there going, is she stupid?
I've seen a lot of people online be like this, like, you're like, well, I use Android, well, I use Apple, and it's like, but why? It's, it's pretentious, right? And they're like, well, I got it for free. You did not get that.
You get nothing for free.
Do I got to break down business economics to you?
Oh my goodness. But yeah, I remember that conversation.
And Apple, they do that at a loss so they can corner the market, so they can become a monopoly, because once you have that, oh, my cable's broke. Oh, now you have to get an Apple cable, which costs 10 times more. Oh, I want a Bluetooth speaker. Apple provides one, and it's guaranteed compatibility, but it costs 10 times more. You got to buy from Apple. They do that. They put out these promotions at a loss to lock you into their ecosystem. You did not get anything for free.
In fact, you're paying more for that than you would for an Android.
They're guaranteeing that you're hooked in their infrastructure, and you will pay more from now on.
True.
And they are the all-time big company. But anyway, back to the article. The goal of this project is medical, an avenue to new therapies for antibiotic-resistant infections, but it also gently crosses a threshold. AI did not just write code. It made synthetic biology that could kill. The technology is now public. It's unregulated. It's untested by peer review. And there's just one simple question left. What will happen when the machine begins designing things that we cannot control or even comprehend?
Well, it will mean an end of the human experience as we know it. That's what I think. It'll be the end of people. Because, I mean,
Yeah. Those children that are on their phones and getting things in their head they shouldn't be, and they're getting addicted to this technology and these screens. Well, now the AI is that child. And you're like, it's doing good. It's not complaining and it's learning. And then you're gonna be like, what happened to our child? You should have been paying attention.
that reminds me of of these people that
And
get
then-
these pit
and then-
bulls.
And then the child is an adult going, I'm gonna do things a little different. And you're going, what happened to the world? You should
Yeah.
have been paying attention.
That's like these people that get these pit bulls and stuff, and they keep them for 2 or 3 years or whatever, and all of a sudden, they're on the news with their kid's face bitten off or something. Never mind the fact that for years the dog has been given warning signs and they just weren't paying attention until something bad happened.
Yeah, and they didn't bother to study up on what dog behavior means and how it should be interpreted. They're like,
Mhm.
oh, my dog, it's so loving, and I pet it, and it shows me affection, therefore it's good.
True.
Yeah, yeah. Like Jeff Rear says, but my entertainment. My entertainment. Okay, look. I know I come off preachy on here. I know this, but I guess somebody's got to, right? We're all hooked on entertainment. Whether we entertain ourselves by being a talking head online, or whether we're watching a show, or whether we're playing a game, and it's like we got to be hooked in. I encourage everyone out there to take, I don't know, an hour, 20 minutes even. Go out, sit in nature a little bit, tune out and tune in.
Yeah. I do that every morning. I'll get up and I'll get my coffee and I'll go on the porch and I'll just sit there and exist, taking all the sounds and everything from everywhere. It's very enlightening.
I encourage everybody to take that weight of that ego off your shoulders. Take it off and drop it like a ton of bricks, and then go out and try to be a human to other people. Just be kind, be nice, make conversation, and tell me how it feels.
You'll feel better.
Also known as, which AKA means also known as, touch grass. And some of you out there might need to touch some ass too, because you don't know what a girl is, apparently. Not all of you. Yeah, some of you do good. Yeah, no doubt. There are some, right? There are some.
You just had to do it. You just had to say it.
We weren't designed to always be turned on. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, take some time, whether it be an hour, 20 minutes, whatever. Go out, go tune out and tune in. And if you don't understand what I mean, just do it. Do it for a while. And you might be sitting there, this don't do nothing for me. This is boring. Keep at it. Just make it a daily thing. You will see.
Yeah. I think, what it is people, they want to be connected, but they don't know how. And so they turn to these things to fill that void, and they're going about it all crazy. That's what I think.
And if you never have downtime, then your uptime becomes tedious, meaningless, menial, and so on, right? It becomes a lot of words. Not good. Okay, so I believe that's gonna be all we're gonna have for today's show, which is absolutely a itty bitty short show compared to usual. But then again, we only have 2 people here, not 8 or 10. So I will skip my usual spiel, that I usually say at the end of the shows, and I will just say you can catch me tomorrow for the System Shock, 2 p.m. Central. System Crash. I don't know, whatever. 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. UK, unless I'm mistaken. And you can catch me Thursday, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, where we will have a longer show with more people on it. Also, Wednesday, the System Crash show, we will have more people, but it will be roughly 2 hours.
I have a question, Joffrey. Are you going to be on Thursday's show, or are you working?
It's pronounced Jeffrey. I said think Geoffrey. That's a reference. That's often how memory. If you want to work on your memory, like I want to memorize this, kind of like when Mercanti, right? I memorized. I kept forgetting, and I was like, okay, word association. Murky Kant monster. Mercanti.
But yeah, I was wondering if he was going to be on Thursday's show or if he'd be working. So.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
Oh, that's fine.
I've thought about making some changes here and there. I've not decided on anything, but I feel some things are getting stagnant. I might shift some things up a little bit. Again, I don't know yet, but I might.
Change is not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, this has been an insightful and relaxing, fun stream. Well, thanks for that. This is what we attempt to do. We attempt to do that on all of our streams, but the ones that's more full and goes on longer, it gets insane. Sometimes I just sit back and go, I want to see where this goes. This is nuts.
This is a train wreck.
I'm gonna let it go. This is nuts. I just, my only other option is go, everybody shut up and settle, and I'm not gonna do that, right?
Well, you can't run those streams militant, I know. I mean,
I can't. I can be a tense asshole, but I really try not to be.
Some streamers, they run their shows very militant, but that's them, and we work a little bit different.
We barely work at all.
Well, that's why we're different.
Work in terms of function.
Yeah.
I actually work my ass off to keep this stream going. Elijah knows that there's not a day that passes that I'm not looking things up, editing videos, creating a new intro, or preparing for this next show, and trying to sometimes organize the people, and then there's times I'm like, hey, they support me, I want to support them, I'm trying to make time to watch their show, or be on their stream or join their Discord, and it's like I'm just busy, and then there's that, and then there's life. So and I got this stuff in life which I gotta do this, I'm busy, and then I'm like, but I gotta make time for this.
Yeah.
It's daunting. It's daunting.
Yeah, it is. That's why I don't have my own channel. I don't have the patience for it. I just don't. Of course,
there's people who's like, it's not daunting. You just turn your camera on and start talking. It's like, if that's the way you operate, good for you, great. But I make my best attempt to be on things. I want it to work well. I want to make sure I got something. I want to, I want to make sure this turns out good, and I'm on it. I'm that kind of person. I'm attentive. I find a lot of people aren't attentive at all. I find the majority just aren't attentive at all.
Yeah, that's true.
So for me, it's daunting, but I persevere.
Well, it's daunting, but when it goes smoothly, it's really good to see everybody and talk to everybody and stuff like that.
So I don't even know if he's still here, but again, thanks again to Roadkill 101 for paying some taxes, which is kind of odd, but thanks.
Taxes. That's what tickled me. He said he was paying taxes.
Roadkill, he's a real nice guy. He tries not. He tries to stay on everybody's real good side, and he's got this slightly unique sense of humor, which I appreciate. And I appreciate that he will delve into the paranormal of things. I really appreciate that. He's a great addition to this channel, and so is Jeffrey. But Jeffrey, his time is divided now. That's perfectly understandable. You got to make a living. You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
He was a really great addition to this channel as well.
Yeah.
They all are. I mean, even the ones that can be problematic provide their own unique, and bring their own flavor, and it's all good. It can be daunting, but they all bring something to this channel.
Yeah. Well, this channel, I think, is unlike any other channel on YouTube. I've yet to find one.
Okay, I got used to doing my show, right? I used to watch other people's show, and I'm like, hey, this is great. And then I got used to doing mine, and then I watched other people's show, and I'm like, this is so robotic, so fake feeling, and kind of boring. And I'm like, wait a minute, I just got used to my madness.
Yeah. You just got used to.
If you're in the madness, you will be entertained.
Yeah, that is true.
Okay, so that's it for this one. Till next time, which is tomorrow, and then the next day. Till then, and I already said when, but I'm not gonna say it again. Till then, we're out. Later.
Be forewarned, ye devils. Don't talk shit about me, or you shall be struck down into non-existence.
I need more. More money, more blood, more war, more power, all around. I need more land, more hand, more glove, more power. I need more. Give me your shit. I need more. I'm taking all of it. I need more. I'll own this fucking earth. You and all your words. I need more drugs, more love, more sex, more power.
What the hell are you all still doing here? What, are you in love with my ass or something? Well, why don't you just get up off that couch and come here and kiss me on my ass then? Jesus Christ. Oh, well, fine. It is now official. You have just wasted most of my fucking day.